let's begin. So to understand this whole thing, let's go back to the very start. But before we begin, please click all the buttons, subscribe and everything. Help me out. Help me out, guys. Thanks. So to start off with, let us name all the relevant players in this drama. We have Roscott, we have Stop Killing Games, we have Thor Hall, or more better known as Pirate Software. We have Charlie, or better known as Penguinzo, Moist Critical, and we have, of course, the literal god, Asmongold. So let us start with Ross, guy with two first names, also the guy that apparently looks like a sleazy car salesman, according to this guy, which, fair. Guy does need a haircut. So this guy is a guy with 360,000 YouTube subscribers. And this guy is the guy that started this thing, Stop Killing Games initiative. Also a W gamer and content creator. Let's move along forward first to Pirate Software. Now, Pirate Software is a small game developer owner. He owns a small game dev company. He is also a content creator slash streamer. He is most well known for his dad being a former employee at Blizzard. At least that's how I got to know him first. I think he does have the best voice in all of streaming culture. He has that kind of like broadcasty deep voice. And at first, I actually liked his content. His content is not that bad. His personality, though, as we will see in this whole drama, is a bit off. It's a bit off-putting, to say the least. Now, to get better understanding of this whole thing, let's talk about this thing, the Stop Killing Games initiative, I think is the focal point of this whole thing. So, Stop Killing Games. You can tell by the name, it is very straightforward. Just stop killing games. Stop Killing Games is an initiative that started last year by Ross Scott. Now, Stop Killing Games is the main focal point of this whole video and whole drama thing. So, quick background on Stop Killing Games. This initiative was started because of a game called The Crew, which is owned by Ubisoft, and it had 12 million players, at least 12 million online or offline, regardless. They had 12 million registered players. Now, is this 12 million buys? I don't know. But roughly 12 million people paid full price for this game. Now, Ubisoft just decided that this is end of life for this game, and they decided to shut down all the online servers. Now, here's the kicker. This is a perpetually online racing game, which means when they did that, the game just became unplayable. It's essentially defunct now. You cannot play the game that you paid full price for. Now, I have a mouse, I have a pen, I have all this shit. This all physical, right? So if Razer wanted to take back this mouse, they would have to come to my house and take it, which would effectively be stealing from me. And this is what a bunch of people felt about Ubisoft. So essentially, people felt like Ubisoft stole money from them because they took this game out. Suddenly, they killed this game. So stop killing games. It is what it is. So that's what Ross Scott was trying to do. He was trying to hold the developers accountable for the games that they released. He was asking, or at least the initiative was asking, that the developers at least consider what's going to happen to the game end of life. Like, make it so that the game end of life could still be playable or accessible by the people who purchase the game. Very reasonable. Again, make it either offline, give it to them in an offline state by doing patches where it's playable, or you can do public servers. Like, just give it to the public and they can hold their own servers and do whatever they wish. Just make the game playable, not kill the game. Stop killing the games. A very good example would be Team Fortress 2. Team Fortress 2 it's essentially a dead game. There is no support for Team Fortress 2, but you still see people playing the game in public servers. That's good guy Team Fortress 2. So that's what this thing was asking for, and I think it's very reasonable. You'd have to be a total brain dead nut not to see just positive things about this initiative. Stop Killing Games is sitting at around 600,000 signatures, which means this thing is probably dead in the water. The deadline is at the end of this month, so they're probably not gonna magically make up the 400,000 signatures they need to have to have this thing pushed through. Which is where Ross Scott finally, after staying quiet about the whole situation, figured, we're gonna fail anyway, end of life for this whole thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and share what I think happened and why I think this whole thing just exploded. So, here's where all the things started then. Ross Scott started accusing Pirate Software of misrepresenting Stop Killing Games. So, like about, I think, around 5, 6, or 7 months ago, Thor released a video about Stop Killing Games. And this is what Ross Scott had a big problem with, because as soon as Thor released this video, kind of support just instantly faded. Overnight, it instantly stopped. It like dead on its tracks. And in this video, Thor had made a few claims. Thor claimed that SKL was mainly targeting single player games, not multiplayer games, which was false. A quick trip to the website would say this. And one more was the false claim of forced perpetual support. So he claimed again that SKL was trying to force developers to keep their servers online indefinitely regardless of player count, which again is not true. The ask was to, at least when you kill your game, make it available to play offline or give it to public servers, or give it to the public. Another one Thor was talking about was the vagueness of the initiative itself, what it was asking the developers to do. So he thought that it was a huge ask for the developers and it was very burdensome for them, potentially harming the industry. Again, this is a fair point by Pirate Software, if I'm being honest, but I think it was done, or at least Ross claims that was done intentionally, so that there would be room for deliberation once it does pass through the legislation, because they wanted there to be room for conversation on what should and shouldn't be done when applying this law. That's fair, but again, it is kind of vague, but that was intended. And lastly, he claimed that this could kill the live service game industry because of the unrealistic standards that they wanted, which would be true if that's what they wanted. But no, again, I said offline servers, public servers. Again, this is a gross misinterpretation of what the initiative was actually all about. And so, as you can see, Thor, or Pirate Software, really was against this whole thing. He took it a step further by calling the whole thing garbage. He even told Ross Scott to eat his whole ass. Not my words. Which kind of made it extra funny, seeing that, circling back to his recent controversies, he had an issue with this guy Furry on the internet, which kind of outed him as gay or maybe bisexual. Well, not that part matters, but eating his whole ass is probably something he would have enjoyed. Now, these two right here are probably the bigger streamers on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick. Apparently, and what they did for this cause was they magnified it. They just put on like a big old lens to it because they did react to it. Charlie himself, I think, is a huge supporter of Ross Scott as well as Stop Killing Games. As Mongold, on the other hand, a bit friendly with Thor. That's fine. I can respect that, but so he stayed a bit neutral. He was hovering around the middle. Of course, you can also agree with Stop Killing Games. It's just, it's a complicated thing. You don't have to burn bridges, no? But yeah, the most important thing is they did pay attention to this, which maybe this last breath of publicity is all it needs. For some reason, Pirate Software recently has been proving to be more and more, arrogant, narcissistic. I did not used to think that was the case, but with the recent things about the accusations with the guy, and then the Warcraft thing where he wouldn't take any onus at all, which, for the record, I think he was correct. That wouldn't have mattered if he did not rat out of the party. That party was done for. But yeah, there is a growing feeling on the internet that he's a bit arrogant and he just cannot do any wrong. For some reason, there's like a big force field of righteousness where everything that goes through the force field actually apparently is misunderstood or misconstrued, or there's just something that he understands and you don't understand. He's right and you're wrong. It's just the whole thing. So his reputation definitely is taking a big hit. So that's it. That's basically the whole drama. My 2 cents on the whole thing is that, well, all of these people, these things, this drama, it doesn't matter. Go live your life, touch some grass. That is, if I had any advice for you, that's what you should do. All of this is just content for you to consume, but it's really not important in your everyday life. The second opinion I would have, if you have better things to do than live your real life, is that despite how one might feel about pirate software, despite who is right or who is wrong and the whole thing, if he did kill the initiative or not, there is still 3 days until the thing ends. It's end of this month, 3 more days. There's about, I don't know, couple of million people that's tuned into this whole thing. I don't know how many of that lives in Europe, but this stop killing games is more important than who's right and who's wrong. So if you're watching this and you live in Europe, maybe just, I'll link it down below. Maybe just give it a sign. Just give it a sign, and maybe we can fill out that 400k in 3 days. I mean, I'm not that popular, but that should be the takeaway. I mean, that should be the take. That should be what people bring home from all of this. Like, despite whatever drama there is, at least the drama shed some light on what is important in this whole thing. And it's not about somebody eating his whole ass, but it's about supporting this guy, and supporting me. I don't know, guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like the video, I'm gonna go ahead and watch another video to make a video that you can watch. So please click on the buttons to support me. Thank you. Bye.